You're listening to the Screaming Pods Network.
Over the moor, take me to the moor, dig a shallow grave and I'll lay me down. Over the moor, take me to the moor, dig a shallow grave and I'll lay me down.
Morrissey once said, "Suffer, little children, but you won't have to," because Intervision just released the best SOV movie you will see all year. I'm Mike D, and you are listening to THESOVPOD. The THE stands for the, and this is the Shot on Video podcast, man. And look, hey, listen, we are sitting here tonight celebrating the beginning of season motherfucking 3. That is right. That is correct.
Wait,
we are done.
Isn't it season 5?
Season 5?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5?
Oh, no. I definitely know how to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I got it. Well, I mean, our last episode, you know, we did Video Violence 1 and 2, and that was that was like August, I think.
Oh.
But that was the beginning of season 2. Exciting season 2. And then now,
but
you
not
know,
season 3.
No, this is season 3. We're beginning season 3 right now.
I gotta go.
What? Fine. All right. Fine. Fuck it. It's season 5.
Yes.
You are listening to the season premiere of season 5 of THESOVPOD. The THE stands for the, and this is the Shot on Video podcast, the premier podcast of Screaming Pods Network, the #1 purveyor of fine podcasts in this world. I am Mike D, as I said before, but joining me now forever and always is Brad Bucklesuck Henderson. How are you, buddy?
Pretty good, but it's not always, because remember that time you kicked me out of the show and you recorded with different people and they pretended to be me?
I did not kick you out of the show.
Oh.
You decided that you were this jet-setting fucking Hollywood mogul that was going to go watch Disaster Artist or whatever 8 months before the rest of us could. So you went and did that, and you ate taquitos or what the fuck ever in parking lots throughout the greater Texas area. And you know what? Work continues. You got to clock in. If you're not there, I could pay someone else to be Brad Fucklesuck Henderson.
I did a lot of cocaine during that time.
I love the cocaine. Period. I love the cocaine. Do you like Buckcherry, Brad?
You know, I don't really care for Buckcherry, but I actually like that song.
You love the cocaine?
Yes. Isn't it called Lit Up in the song?
Lit Up.
Lit Up.
Yeah, on Woodstock 99, on the live album they did for Woodstock 99, Josh Todd, the lead singer of Buckcherry, he gets on the mic and he goes,
I see, this thing started out being a weekend thing. You know, couple lines on Friday night. Wasn't gonna hurt anybody. Then I made it to Sunday. Sunday turned to Monday. Monday turned to 8-ball. Hot dogs. And a fifth motherfucker. Lit up like a fucking light bulb.
and then it goes,
oh yeah.
clever do they think they are for taking Chuck Berry and just switching the letters? What a bunch of douchebags.
Can we move on? I had a bad incident at Woodstock 99. I really don't want to talk about it.
Were you at Woodstock 99?
Yes, I was.
Me neither. All right, today on the show, we will be talking about Intervision's release of Suffer Little Children from 1983. But before we get to that, we are going to talk briefly about the 1992 mega super not blockbuster Hellroller. Now look, hey, listen, maybe you haven't seen Hellroller. Well, I don't know, pause the fucking podcast and go watch it. It's on the YouTube right now, and you could catch up there. But you do need to be purchasing Suffer Little Children through Intervision, an imprint of Severin Films, to enjoy that fine film. Before we jump into the show, Brett, we do have to catch up. We haven't spoken since August 2018. How have you been, brother?
I've been well. I've watched Hellroller every day since August, because that was going to be our next show.
Yeah.
And I'm a little tired of it.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about that fatigue a little bit later.
Cool.
Other than that, though, you're doing well. You love the cocaine.
Yeah, I'd rather be listening to Buckcherry right now.
How many lyrics do you know from Lit Up by Buckcherry?
On the couch, on the bed.
I love the cocaine.
I'm all lit up again.
On the couch.
Yeah, on the bed.
In my bed. And yes, I'm all lit up again. Flying. I love the cocaine.
Lit up like a light bulb.
Lit up like a fucking light bulb. Who do you think's better, Buckcherry or Alien Ant Farm?
See, there's a few songs by Alien Ant Farm that I really enjoy, so I can't, I don't know if I'm exposing myself in... because, you ever talk about a band and then you're like, oh man, I really like them, but then you find out, they're the laughing stock. But, I mean... aside from Smooth Criminal, they had Movies, which was one of my favorite songs, and then they had that song Wish. They had a song called Glow that's really good. And I enjoyed that. And they're actually, I think they're coming back too, right? Because I think they
Alien Ant Farm. I thought that fucking guy jumped off a roof and broke his neck. And isn't he paraplegic now? Shouldn't he be in a Hellroller?
To kind of clear the air, and then you see someone, you want to hug them, and we've been through a lot, man. I broke my neck in a bus crash and on tour in Spain with these guys, went through my recovery. We've gone through some gnarly stuff that just oh, F you, I'm out of here, is not going to be the end of our relationship together.
This bus crash in Spain, the driver was actually killed in this crash, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Well, here we go. Let's dive into Hellroller. Our star of Hellroller is the guy from Alien Ant Farm. It's literally about a singer from a band that covered Smooth Criminal, who becomes a serial killer in a wheelchair.
Okay, Brad, are you okay? Are you okay, Bradley? All right, let's jump in. I want to do the menu really quick, and then let's get Hellroller out of the way, because I know you're looking so forward to that. But usually on THESOVPOD, the POD stands for what? Payable on Death. Yes, POD. They used to be on the Oz tour, the Oz Fest.
Oh,
remember
yeah,
Ozfest?
and they turn their back to the crowd, and they play to a big picture of Jesus, and then they get booed off the stage.
No, this is for sure this is Sean DeRager shit with the pseudo-Christian bands that are doing all the cocaine and fucking all the girls, but then they're like, but we love Jesus.
Yeah,
and
they had that South Side. Going down the South Side with a kid won't play.
And Florida's got to be fucked up, but all this.
They got that other popular song, "Alive." I feel so alive
for the very first time.
Yeah. That shit.
And I think I can fly.
Oh god,
Oh,
I
that's
hated
so
that
funny.
song. That's
Jesus
probably
fucking
Daddy
Christ.
Dreger's like jam, though. To be honest with you.
Fuck those guys. They all look the same. Like if there was a lineup
Whoa.
of like the lead singer of POD and the lead singer of Stained, could you tell them apart?
Aaron Lewis and the lead singer of POD, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Lewis was bald, and I think the lead singer of POD had dreadlocks.
Oh, that's true. And Aaron Lewis had the droopy eyebrow because of the piercing, right?
Sure. We're talking a lot about 90s music rather than actual movies.
Well,
and
hey,
since this is premiere of season 5, I think we should.
This is season 5. We've been doing this for 5 years now, so we could talk about whatever we want. You know, established brands do that.
Yeah, gotcha.
Mm-hmm. All right, dinner and a movie. Ready?
Sure. Beans
Cue
and cornbread.
Cue the song. Cue the song. Do it. You sing it.
Beans and cornbread. That's all I got.
Beans and cornbread. You say cornbread or cornbread?
Cornbread.
Yeah, you're from the South. That's right. Cornbread.
Beans and cornbread. Beans and cornbread. Beans and cornbread. Beans and cornbread had a fight. Beans knocked cornbread out of sight.
Brad, today we're watching Suffer Little Children and Hellroller. Let's just do our pairings up front. They're both relatively short films. We're going to get our snacks all prepared before we pop in our double feature. What are we doing, buddy, and why?
Well, I figured since this is the big premiere of our 5th year, I'm going to pull out a dish that I've fixed a couple times. I don't like to spoil myself with this, but what I like to do is I like to take basically like the caramel and maple syrup, okay, and grab some pecans, all right, and put them over a bowl of popcorn, and then drizzle the maple syrup and the caramel over that. It's a little messy, but it's pretty good.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's intense, man.
It's
so
very intense.
Okay, you're going sweet. I'm going to go savory. And I have also been saving this for our 5th year. Congratulations, by the way. Not many podcasts see 10 episodes, let alone, what are we on, like 18 in 5 years? So we have that going for us. But here's what I'm whooping out, buddy, to use your turn of phrase. I am whooping out something so spicy and delicious. I want to go with jalapeno artichoke dip, bought specifically through Safeway or Vons. Okay, I want to get that shit to a good room temp, and then I want to dip in that thin cut pretzel crisps that are everything bagel flavored. Oh, buddy, you get the salt, you get the garlic, and then you dip it into that sweet, fine, creamy artichoke dip that's laced with jalapenos. Nothing beats that.
Jalapenos.
Now, our snack looks pretty light when you look at it out on the table, but man, that is going to keep us satiated for the 3 hours that we're watching these two pictures. Want to jump into it, buddy?
Yeah, I think honestly, I mean, I can't just eat popcorn. I would have to have nachos with this because I think these are nacho movies. No?
Yeah. What did the burrito say to the taco when the taco said, "Hey, are you depressed?"
I don't know.
It's nacho business.
Damn, that's a good one.
And then what did the taco say again? He said, "Do you want to talk about it?"
No.
All right. So first up, we're going to talk about 1992's Hellroller. I'm going to play clips from Hellroller. I have the whole movie. I ripped it. And actually, you could probably hear some of it in the background right now. But I don't give a shit. We're just talking over it. I think it's public domain. I don't know. Who owns the rights to Hellroller?
I have no idea. Probably the producers.
But also the entire public, because it's on YouTube. YouTube.com/Hellroller. Brad, how did you first come to learn about Hellroller?
Well, my dog is going fucking crazy right now, so I think she might have to go outside. You
oh, yeah?
Go potty? Huh? Oh, okay, yeah, that's what it is. Alright, we're gonna hold this. You just sing, or talk about Hellroller, and then we'll come back and do the rest.
Did you get to save the other part of the recording?
Yeah, it saves automatically.
Yay! There's, like, so much in there.
Okay. Yeah, like, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with my dog.
Oh.
So, anyways, alright, yeah, let's just jump back into it.
Hellroller, 1992. Brad, when did you first become aware of Hellroller?
I think I became aware of Hellroller because there was a company that put it out. So 92?
Mm-hmm.
I think I saw it probably like around 2000, so 92, 2013. I saw a DVD of it called the 21st Anniversary or something. I thought that was funny. I think it was a bootleg. And, yeah, that's when I first saw it, and I was not thrilled.
Alright, so, yeah, this is... folks listening to the show don't know this, but Brad and I... we accidentally said Hellroller was going to be like... Not accidentally, we said it very much on purpose. But we said, we're going to cover Hellroller next. And I think we also said Suffer Little Children around the same time. But then Brad rewatched Hellroller, and that's like so much disdain, like through the texting machine and the phone calls, where I'm like, we're doing Hellroller next, and Brad's like, fuck. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then he's like, when can you record? I'm like, anytime, buddy. He's like, I don't ever want to record again. What is it about Hellroller, brother?
So I enjoy shot-on-video films for many different reasons. And Hellroller... The thing is you can have a poorly made movie. You can have a bad movie, what it's called. You can have an awful movie. But the one thing I hate is just boring movies. And that's kind of what Hellroller is that if you told me, hey, there's a horror movie out there with a guy in a wheelchair that kills people, that sounds very exciting to me. That's a plot that seems interesting. And with Hellroller, especially having like Michelle Bauer and
Mary Warnock?
Yeah, I mean, having those two people in it, you would think there would be something substantial or memorable. But there's so many things that, you know, we complain about film, but with shot-on-video films, like even the focusing and the camera work are awful in Hellroller. At times, the camera zooms into nothing. The camera floats around. They use the internal mic on the camera, it sounds like, to record the entire film. Mainly, all the kills are off screen. It's just... there's just so much just boringness to the film to where it doesn't make it worth anything or even your time. And it's upsetting because there's so... on the back side, you're like, oh, Mary Warnock and Michelle Bauer were in a shot-on-video movie? Well, that's cool. Yeah, it's about it's also a satanic killer in a wheelchair killing people. That sounds amazing. But then once you actually get into it, it's like... and the movie starts... there's a lot of just fucking talking and kills off screen in this movie to make it even, like, remotely watchable. And like I said, man, you can have a bad movie, you can have an awful movie, you can have, you know, I watch that shit all the time, because some of it's entertaining, but I don't like boring movies.
Yeah. No, it is very boring, which is, again, like Brad said, it's not a critique that we like to put lightly on some of these, independently financed, like, passion projects. But the interesting thing to me, because you said the thing about Mary Warnow being in the movie in particular, and I had the same reaction when I saw she was in it too. But since I had seen Hellroller, I had since talked to a director that was working with Mary Warnow, like, at the time that she would have made, Hellroller, say. And I was like, wow, that's amazing, because I was kind of starstruck that this guy, like, wrote and directed a movie and got Mary Warnow to be in it. And he goes, I go, how did you lock her in? Like, how'd you do it? He's like, we had lunch. And then she's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it. So I was like, oh, that's how Mary Warnow ends up in Hellroller, because she's, like, far and away just like an artistic weirdo herself, and, like, wants to partake in these things and have fun and get the experience as well. But the thing that I do like about Hellroller, if we have to say something nice, Brad, is it gives me something I really like, which is that cinema verite. Well, obviously the shot-on-video aesthetic, but it shows us almost shot-on-video documentary footage of downtown LA, particularly Hollywood, in the early 1990s. Like, it opens up with, shots of Mann's Chinese theater, and it's very much like a vacation travelogue, of the director or whatever, where you see people, like, putting their hands in, Gene Kelly's hands or whatever. Before, of course, cuts to an alleyway with a very angry Hellroller going through a dumpster, mumbling about his life. But I will always love that about SOV movies, where, if nothing else, you get this cinema verite look at, like, what was happening in that environment on video at that time, which, in my opinion, it gives you a much more clear, like, documentary look at those places.
Another thing, there's a porn star in it too that was popular at the time. I think it was Hypatia. I think that's how you pronounce her first name. Hypatia Lee.
I don't know, man. I don't work for Vinegar Syndrome.
Oh, you don't?
No. Do you?
I do some work. But yes, Hypatia Lee, I believe, is in the film. So that was another one. I mean, I think it was, like, right after she was getting out of pornography. But, yeah. She was in it too. So it's just so weird, man. It's weird how everything came together for this guy, and he just makes a total kind of trash movie.
Yeah.
So
the tone's off in it. Where I don't know. It's fine if you have this angry protagonist, but the whole movie's kind of just ugly. You're totally right with it, and it the SOV aesthetic definitely doesn't help that. If you're not into SOV, watching Hellroller is not going to convince you to get on board.
It's SOV, when you're filming a movie on VHS, you're already limiting yourself to, the camera work, the sound, so many things. So when you're making something, you want it to be as good as possible. You want your camera angles, you want your shots, you want everything to at least try. Looks like you're trying. It does not. It looks like they filmed Hellroller on every first take they had. Yeah. And pieced it together. And that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like anybody actually tried with the movie. And hence why I believe the director only made Hellroller, and that's it.
You know what would be amazing, Brad?
Yeah.
Is if here today, tonight, we paired Hellroller, a film that you say did not try at all, with a film also shot on video that tries.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
And I think that's, I was a little afraid of pairing these films up because I believe one outperforms the other in different ways, but it also shows you that this, what we're getting into, from a filmmaking standpoint, Suffer Little Children was a student film. And most of the actors are not actors. So that goes to show you that something that has mainly, even established people in front of the camera and, filmed in L.A., I guess, at the time. I don't even know where it was filmed. I think it was filmed in L.A.
Hellroller?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But Suffer Little Children, which, of course, we're kind of dancing around right now, that's the first movie that we've talked about on this show, at least, that was shot in the UK.
Yeah,
on
in
video.
England, yeah. And I don't know, it's just, I've seen so much, and you could bring Blonde Death into this too. Blonde Death doesn't do anything unique with the camera angles, but Blonde Death is pretty much 100% dialogue-driven movie. And it's not boring, and it's twice as long as Hellroller.
Yeah.
And it feels like there's more talking in Hellroller than there is Blonde Death, just because it doesn't move. Like even the editing and the scenes that are put together, it just doesn't move. And it really goes to show you that, even though people look at a lot of people look down on SOV because it's, not real film. It really goes to show you that a filmmaker can make something substantial even with its limitations. So.
Oh, absolutely. And let's jump right into it. 1983's Suffer Little Children.
Come, devil, come. 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 Come, devil, come.
Good God. It's dead.
So, Suffer Little Children is the first movie that I think would qualify as a non-American production. No, we've done a fucking Canadian movie on this show. God damn it. We did a Phobe, the Xenophobic Experiments from Canada. But this is definitely the first one from over the pond, quote-unquote foreign film. Not foreign language, but foreign. From the UK, Suffer Little Children. And something I want to point out right away that I looked it up online. I didn't see anybody else really commenting on this. But something that stuck out to me was just the aesthetic of this particular SOV. I was like, oh, it looks a little bit more like 8mm. It looks a little bit closer to, 16. And I was thinking about it, and the frame rate for PAL VHS is closer to 24 frames a second than it is to 30 frames a second, which would be that NTSC VHS,
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at Suffer Little Children, I think even though it does look shot on video, it does look closer to a film format just because of the frame rate. And I actually think that's something that plays into getting the viewer more on the side of the aesthetic, especially if they're not on board with SOV to begin with.
Yellow ball. I got the yellow ball. Oh, all right. I think I ate the most balls there. So why are we using Hungry Hungry Hippos to demonstrate anything? Well, we're going to get into frame rate. Our cameras have the ability to be set at different frame rates, and that's what Todd's going to explain. So what are the different frame rates we're going to be working with?
The general frame rates that everybody's going to find in their cameras is 24 frames per second, 30 frames per second, and 60 frames per second.
So what you're saying is that at 24 frames, we have literally 24 individual still images and 30. There's 60 still frames that all make up the video?
That's exactly right.
So what is that giving us?
24 frames per second is going to give you that cinematic film look. It's going to give you a motion blur. We've all grown up watching movies shot at 24 frames per second, and a lot of guys tend to gravitate towards 24 frames just to imitate that look.
So that gives you a certain look that may be good for one thing, but maybe 30 is better for something else.
30 frames is going to give us a more realistic look. There's actually more frames there, capturing more action, but it's going to give you that video look.
So it's something similar to what we saw in the 80s and 90s when my mom had her Betamax?
Or even like a newscast. Even your iPhones, I believe, they shoot at 30 frames per second. It's definitely going to look a little more real. You're catching more frames per second, so you're capturing a little more motion. It's going to look a little cleaner, a little crisper. Your sporting events might be shot at 30 frames per second.
But it doesn't have that feel.
It doesn't give you that cinematic look that a lot of people like to have.
All right, so then 60 frames a second.
60 frames per second, for what our purposes are, is going to be used for slow motion.
But there's a lot in Suffer Little Children right from the get-go that let you know this motherfucker's shot on video. We're talking boarding house style intertitles, right? With the computer font, or you know how some of those SOVs that we've talked about, they'll do
Blood Cult. Blood Cult.
Blood Cult. No, exactly, perfect. But man, Suffer Little Children. I'm so glad you brought up Blonde Death, because this is probably one of the top two SOVs, that I've seen in my life that I love as much as I do. Blonde Death, of course, being the top. That's my best picture if we're doing the SOV Oscars. But Suffer Little Children, this thing fucking bangs. This is a banger.
Yeah, I think for one, the score for the film, with the kids just kind of aimlessly wandering around and it's really, you can tell the kids are not actors, and it's just them in a room talking. And yes, I will admit, the first time watching Suffer Little Children, which was actually not that long ago, because this film was pretty much unavailable everywhere. So the first time I actually got to see it is when Entervision put out this DVD, and I heard about the film, and I was really excited to watch it, and I put it in, and I wasn't impressed. I was like, man, this is just, I can't really hear what the kids are saying. It's obviously not part of the story. But I got more and more into it because of the score, and kind of, it felt like the film was heading in a darker direction, and there was a couple scenes that, I was like, oh shit, here we go, and then it would tone down a little bit. But, and I'll say this, is that this film is 100% worth it to sit through the probably, it's not boring for 50 minutes. It's actually, it's I would say it's a tad boring at times, but there are a couple sequences that are a lot of fun. But the last 20 minutes of this movie is absolutely fucking insane.
Right, and you're talking about the last 20 minutes of a 1 hour and 15-minute movie.
Yeah, it's fairly short. So
sure.
But those last 20 minutes, it is so worth it to watch. And I know that sounds funny, saying a film is like that. You just have to sit through. But the payoff is worth it. And this is not a shot-on-video movie that I'm about to bring up. This is just something that kind of hit the internet lately, and I think it's got a Blu-ray release in the UK.
We're talking about Green Book.
Nope. But it's called One Cut of the Dead.
表向きは浄水場として作られたんだけど、裏ではある実験に使ってたんだって。ある実験？人体実験。
撮影は続ける。カメラは止めない。
この噂が本当だったなんて。最高かよ、おい。
血はもう巻き終わった。
死の呪文を唱えるとそれは蘇る。それ？
はい、カット。ゾンビもので生中継でワンカット
やっていただけますか。
And it's a Japanese horror film comedy, and it was presented to me like that. It said, the movie's in 3 acts. The first act is kind of interesting. It falls flat for the second act, but it's all on purpose to set up for the third. So I'm watching this movie, I'm an hour in, and I'm like, oh my god, like, what the fuck, man? I'm not really digging this. It was kind of funny at times, and then it just kind of drifted off. And man, the third act of One Cut of the Dead is glorious. 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 Glorious.
Yeah.
Perfect. And you're like, oh shit, now I get it. Like, I'll sit through that movie again because I know what's leading up to. And therefore, One Cut of the Dead is Suffer Little Children, and Suffer Little Children is One Cut of the Dead. It's the same movie.
I mean, that's probably a more apt comparison. I was thinking of the old standby that horror fans like to go with, which is Audition, where you're watching basically a romantic comedy for the first hour and 10 minutes.
Glorious.
And then the last 20 minutes of it, you're just like, what the fuck is this terrifying, weirdo shit that's happening?
Sunshine would be another one.
Sure. Yeah.
Which even Sunshine was marketed as kind of the end of the world movie, and then it's like, glorious. Wait a second, there's a serial killer involved on another ship? What the fuck? Spoiler alert. But I enjoy when films do that. I mean, if you sat down and you watch From Dusk Till Dawn, you're like, oh man, this is a pretty rad, kind of, low-key gangster movie. And then it just turns out to be fucking vampires. Not the same as Suffer Little Children. We're talking, something way, way different here. But Suffer Little Children does that same thing to where it's like, oh, alright, I don't know why people are talking about this movie, and then once it fucking erupts, glorious. I mean, that's what it does. I mean, this movie, and the thing is they're kids, too. So, the majority of children in this movie were from a home, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was the... It was it an orphanage in real life?
Yeah, it was Professor Xavier's Home for Gifted Mutants.
Glorious. Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought I saw, Jezebel or Jubilee or whatever it's called.
Jezebel.
So most of the people in this film were not actors. It was just kids. So once it starts, fucking blood just starts spurting out everywhere. People are getting stabbed left and right. It gets relatively bloody, and the last battle is glorious. Takes a different toll of the film. It's like it kind of comes out of nowhere. And that's what makes Suffer Little Children so great, is because it takes its time, and I wouldn't say the whole movie's boring. I would just say at times, you kind of don't know what you're watching. But once you watch it...
I would make the comparison, Brad, a little bit more akin to another Severin release, because of course Suffer Little Children is Intervision.
Oh, I know what you're going to say. Oh, you're going to say Severin, because I was going to say another Intervision movie that I would say Death by Love.
Oh yeah, no, we talked about Death by Love for sure, but no, I was actually going to make it tie it in more to a kid-centric movie, which would be Severin's release of Kathy's Curse.
Kathy was 9 years old when she became an unholy terror. Kathy's Curse. Look into her eyes and feel fear. Would such a lovable child strike such terror into those who love her?
My wife's just had another attack.
Don't make her angry, or Kathy will strike back and drive you right out of your mind.
I sent Mommy to the madhouse, the butler's scared to death. I threw Nanny out the window, now 3 of us are left. My daddy, my dolly, and me.
Look into her eyes. She has the power to terrorize.
My daddy, my dolly, and me.
Kathy's Curse.
Okay, yeah, I could see that too.
Where I could see someone arguing that like parts of Kathy's Curse is boring, but then when you go back and rewatch the whole thing, you're like, oh,
right, yeah,
that's what we were playing with at the time. I get it.
And I'll say that when I first watched Suffer Little Children, I was like, man, what the fuck is all the fuss about? I'm actually a little bored. And then after it ended, I was like, man, that is fucking great. And I've watched it a few times since then. This thing's been released for maybe about a year and a half now. And I've probably watched this film like maybe 3 or 4 times, and it gets better for me because I know what's coming, I know what to anticipate, and I can enjoy other parts of the film now because I know what it's leading up to. So not too many films can do that. It's very rare that a film can redeem itself completely. And, you know, I always said that, like, sometimes there's movies where the first act and second act are kind of like, oh, it's fine. But that third act makes the whole film glorious. And the first 2 acts, it doesn't change anything. I mean, it's still the same movie. But the anticipation and knowing what's going to happen, I think that really does a lot. And I think Suffer Children does it perfectly because it gets really extreme towards the end, and you don't, and that's the other thing, is you don't expect it, even with the warning, like, hey, this movie gets a little crazy at the end, you still don't know what you're in for, because it really does get fucking nutty. And I think it's great, because these kids are not actors, so that's another factor, is that it might be a little bit relatively boring, but at the same time, these kids are really good for not being in any movies and actually not know what's going on. And it's like a student project. So it's very interesting to watch, even when the band comes in and they're talking to the band. It's apparently, you know, the fucking Justin Bieber of like rock or something. I don't know. And then
it's like the Sting. I think he's like Sting at the time.
Sting, is that what it's supposed to be? I
think so. Like he's a British pop rocker. He kind of, or maybe like a Billy Idol. I don't know.
A Billy Idol. Okay, I could see Billy Idol. I think that's a good comparison.
You know, I'd say 1 out of 30 kids in my high school had a Billy Idol look going to them. He's the kind of guy the fellows were allowed to listen to. and the girls were allowed to be in love with. Just something about Billy Idol hanging on a plane, knocking back champagne, and getting involved with my love life. Everybody thought that would be fun. The day I met him, I met his son. And I just saw a dad hanging out with his kid and having a good time. My son keeps me informed. Then later that day, I was playing guitar in my trailer, and he was jamming along and singing. I was like, oh, yeah, he's also Billy Idol. He's good. He's a good guitar player and a good singer and a good dude. He's got a lot of goodness. You don't ever think, I bet that guy's afraid to do this. He seems like he'll do anything, and that's very admirable.
Yeah, let's do a quick rundown of the plot though, because I think we've danced around it a little bit, and we've also said that hey, maybe parts of the beginning of the movie are boring, but I think if we really laid out the narrative, folks would be like, no, I'm into that. So honestly, in the first 2 minutes of the movie, a little girl arrives at the front doorstep. Yeah. Elizabeth at the front doorstep of an orphanage, holding a note that says, "Hi, my name is Elizabeth. I'm a mute. I can't talk or write or whatever. But can you take care of me?"
And it's also, and I think it's also they like shove her off. Like, I think she'd be better off in your home or with you. So right. She's basically pawned off, from whoever leaving this note.
And we have a couple like WASP people that run the orphanage that have bleeding hearts, and they're like, absolutely. And like, how could you not? A girl that cute shows up on your doorstep that says, I can't do things for myself, I'd be better off here. Like, of course you're going to take her in, right? And she happens to come the same couple of days that this popular pop star is going to come by, who used to be a member of the orphanage, and he's coming by to meet the girls and the staff and whatnot. And I think it's a great little build of their characters, because I do feel more so than other SOV movies, except for Blonde Death, where I feel we really get some character development, or even like Boarding House, I feel like we get some more character development than usual. But we get to understand the staff of the orphanage, particularly the two folks that run it, and of course Elizabeth herself. And Brad, you mentioned earlier that there's a lot of it's dialogue heavy. There's a lot of chattering, going on amongst the girls, and you said you didn't know necessarily what they were saying, but it didn't matter because you could kind of, get their vibe. I would say this: it's an Intervision DVD. Whoever does the subtitles at Intervision,
yes. They're amazing.
The most amazing fucking person working in the DVD market right now. Put on those subtitles. It's Intervision. Put on the fucking subtitles.
I didn't do that, man. I've watched this movie like 4 times, and I've not done that because we always talk about how they're so good and funny.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh, there was wistful guitar. There was girls chattering. There was like frightening giggling. Oh, it's good shit.
Giggling,
and then of course, when we get the reveal that Elizabeth, the mute girl that shows up at the orphanage, she's possessed by a demon or Satan, right?
Yeah, it is Satan. Yes, Satan
himself.
Yeah. So yeah, she's a mutant, and she shows up at Xavier's school. But yeah, so when she shows up, there's a few things that start to happen, like little creepy things, and that's where I was saying that the whole film is talking. There's a couple other moments in the film where like, the kid that falls down the stairs. There's that scene with zombies, I guess. That kind of comes out of nowhere. But basically it's her with her powers, and then she slowly possesses, or you could say that she makes these other kids kind of her glorious pawns.
Right, she converts them to the cult.
Yep.
This demonic cult.
And when it all builds up, and then if you have the devil, you gotta have the other guy.
Do you believe in God?
I believe.
You do?
I believe in God. Oh, I believe in God.
You do?
Oh, I believe in God. Do you? I believe in God.
And that's where it gets fucking crazy.
Yeah. This is one that I would pair. I said it earlier. I would rather pair it with a non-SOV movie, something like Severin's release of Kathy's Curse, or I would do. There's a beautiful Synapse DVD of Manos: The Hands of Fate. And you know, Manos is one that's often talked about as just being a bad movie, or Mystery Science Theater made it popular for being goofy or whatever. But really, when you sit and watch Manos in like a very clear 16 millimeter projection or high def transfer, you can't get absorbed in that world because of the music and the performances, where you're really wrapped into this wife cult, you know? And I think this would be a fun one to pair with that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I wouldn't pair it with another SOV. And a cool thing with this film as well, with the special features, is they actually got the director to talk about the film, and also because of the violence in it, it was banned. They talk about it almost making the video nasties, but it got pulled so quickly that it never made it to the video nasties, is what I'm guessing. Because I don't remember this being on the video nasties list.
No, it wasn't. And actually, they used a lot of the controversy around the film
to kind of promote it. Yeah,
to kind of retroactively promote it. And if you go onto YouTube, or if you don't go onto YouTube, fuck that. Only use YouTube for Hellroller. Go onto Severin's website. Go to their Intervision imprint, go to the Suffer Little Children page, and then watch the trailer there. Okay, do it that way. Get Severin some clicks before you buy the movie, of course.
Yeah, and there's also an interview with I believe maybe a journalist at the time who gives kind of the breakdown of basically what we're talking about, of how they use this to promote the film, and how it was apparently a real thing, and these kids were never heard from again, and the parents were very upset. So it has this kind of very small story behind it, and it was kind of crazy, like how it did get banned and then got pulled, and then it just never heard from again for a long time, and it was just known as this movie that was really tough to see, and the copies were even scarce. I believe that Viva VHS, Dale Lloyd, who is in the UK, he's actually the one that supplied a copy of the film for the transfer, because the masters are all gone. Even the director, I believe, didn't have a copy of the film.
Oh, wow.
And I believe Viva VHS, who's not very active on Twitter anymore, but he's a very well-known collector of all sorts of crazy tapes. And I believe his, I want to say that was the case. His tape was used as the transfer for this.
I was going to say, though, if you're on the fence, you're still like, oh, I don't know if I want to see this movie that Mike and Brad really love, and it probably only costs $15 on DVD, and it wouldn't set me back more than, say, one meal out at Red Robin. Look, go to the Severin website.
It's also region free.
Yeah, it's region free.
Don't forget that.
Watch the trailer and pause it on these things that Brad just talked about, because in the trailer they show you the actual newspaper clippings from the release of the film, and you'll get a sense that this was a film that was kind of sort of not really being marketed as the Blair Witch of its day. Like, here are things that actually happen to these kids. But the funny thing is, the first title card of the movie tells you this film takes place in 1984, which would have been a year after the movie was released. So that kind of makes it almost Texas Chainsaw style, right? Yeah. Don't they date Texas Chainsaw after the release of the film?
I believe so.
Right.
You're pulling some knowledge on me that I haven't really paid attention to, but that's very interesting.
I want to pull some other things on you, though, buddy.
Glorious. Damn, son.
I'm talking about the penis.
Oh shit, bro. I like that. But yeah, I think Suffer Little Children's a good addition to the SOV realm and SOV lifestyle. So if you enjoy craziness, this is definitely for you. I always get a little, I don't know, it always bugs me when when people watch SOV and they watch it like they're watching fucking Fassbinder or something. Like you're not getting the revolution of cinema. And people take these things so seriously, and it's just like
Hold on, but Fassbinder shot some on video though too. He would do those German TV epics.
Sehen Sie her, hier.
Seidenstrümpfe.
Fleischfarbene. Sind sie nicht hübsch? Ja, jetzt.
But I don't know. All right, whatever.
Well, what I was saying is that, when I watch a movie, I watch a movie for what it is. I don't try to compare it to anything. I'm not saying, well, it's not as good as this, or, this SOV was better. This is poorly made, so I don't like it. Like, I sit there and I watch the film for what it was. So, if it's a shot-on-video movie from Mexico that has, everything's limited for when it was made over there, because, yes, they're shot-on-video movies from Mexico.
That's racist!
I try to watch the film in that place and time. Like, that movie was made for this person at this time. I think people need to give those things a break. So stop being so hard on SOV movies, man. Like, enjoy them. Like, pretend your friends are making them in your backyard, and then they're showing you. Like, you would be impressed if your kid came to you with Suffer Little Children and said, "Hey, we made this at daycare." You'd be, holy fucking shit, this is amazing.
You'd lock them up. You'd say, "Get the fuck out of my house."
You'd watch it and be like, "Man, this is fucking great." If Scorsese said, "Hey, this is my new movie," you'd be like, "What the fuck you doing, man?"
That's true. Yo, Brett, but that's true though, man, because like when David Lynch like pivoted towards video or like mini DV, or when Spike Lee did that with Bamboozled, you got a bunch of the fucking beret wearing motherfuckers that are like, well, it's shot on video, but it's also like deeper, because of the way he uses it. So I don't know. I would offer the counterpoint that like you don't have to change your perspective. Like, a good movie is a good movie.
Right, no, that's what I'm saying. That you shouldn't have to change your perspective. And I think what I'm saying is that I think too many people watch movies with a mindset that it's going to blow them away, or it's going to be the best movie they've ever seen. And I just remember a time where we used to just enjoy movies for what they were. No, for
sure, man. I'm with you.
I'm getting a little serious. I should need to start cracking jokes on this show. But that's just the place I am right now, because I see it like everybody just wants to start controversy over every single movie. And it's like, just enjoy. I remember a time where I would just pop a movie in and enjoy it. So what I'm saying is, buy the Severin DVD, watch even Hellroller on whatever format you could find or site.
YouTube.
Just because it's heavily unavailable. I don't even know what happened with it. No one wants it, just because it's not a very good movie. But yeah, and watch movies for what they are. And we're gonna keep doing this show, I guess, right? Because we like each other and we like doing this show. And
I like you a lot. I like the show.
And we're going to talk about more shot-on-video movies that stood out to us. But plus, we're also going to talk about bad ones. Because I feel that every movie needs to be talked about, and then it's up to you to make the decision if you like the film or not, because that's how movies should be watched and viewed. And don't listen to anybody. Just hear a movie and write it down, and then go check it out yourself.
You sound like Smokey the Bear of like bad movies. Only you could prevent shitty movies.
Well, it's like one of those things where it's like, all right, Suffer Little Children. I have a long list of movies I want to watch. Suffer Little Children's 13, Hellroller 667. You know?
Wow, I see what you did there.
And end of the list. So, you know, that's just me. Because I don't want anybody to tell me, hey, you shouldn't watch this. That's going to make me want to watch it more, just to spite you. But, yeah, watch everything. Enjoy life. Enjoy movies, man. That's what makes it. And plus, you could be passing up the best movie in the world to you by listening to somebody else.
Critics have spoken. Captain Marvel is an origin story like no other.
I've never seen anything like her.
It's a genuine game changer. The film soars. Get ready for an electrifying new hero.
I've been waiting for this moment.
Captain Marvel, rated PG-13, now playing.
So yeah, but yeah, there's special features on the DVD of Stuff for Little Children, $15 on Severin. If you don't feel like spending $15, Severin has quite a few sales through the year, and you could probably pick it up for $10 or lower. But other than that, man, like enjoy the movies that we talk about. We will be diving into things that are a little bit harder to find, just because you got to remember a lot of shot-on-video movies only had VHS releases, and even those were usually done by the producers themselves and the filmmakers. So those are scarce. But we will be diving into some more obscure movies. So. Hopefully, I want to also shout out to, can't remember the writer's name now, but he wrote it's like, ends in GG, like cog or jog or bog.
G.G. Allen.
G.G. Allen. He wrote a book called Analog Nightmares. And it's actually a really fun shot-on-video film. He actually gets his shot-on-video shit right, where he doesn't add, 8mm and 16mm films. But he dives into pretty much a lot of films. I would say he covers at least 85-90% of shot-on-video movies out there. So yeah, pick it up. It's actually fairly cheap. It was like $15-16 when I picked it up, and it's a fairly thick book. So if you're going to do this SOV ride with us, that's actually a good book to have, because it's a nice little starting point, and he just reviews the films and, basically explains the availability of the film as well. So tag along, download the podcast, get the book. There's a couple letterbox lists out there for films, for shot on video, and let's just fucking blow through these things and enjoy them. But what do you want to cover next, Mike?
Death Nurse 1 and 2.
All right, those were slasher video, right?
Yes, sir.
So, you can...
Jesus Turan.
What?
Jesus Turan, the guy who runs Slasher. I'm giving a shout out to, the boy who runs it, man. He's cool.
Yeah, no. So, Death Nurse, to let people know, if you want to follow along, Death Nurse is available on DVD. Oh, it's not a combo? You got to buy them different?
Yeah, you have to buy them separate. I thought it was a combo myself, but it's not.
All right, so Death Nurse 1 and 2 is $9.95 on Amazon. You should be able to get them a little bit cheaper, maybe on eBay. But anyways, so Slasher Video released these through Olive a few years ago. Slasher had a bunch of films re-released through Olive, because I think he was doing his own label. So we will cover Death Nurse 1 and 2 next. Directed by, I believe, Nick Millard, who has done a lot of shot-on-video movies. And you will get into the weirdness. And these movies are short, right? They're like under an hour?
Yeah, they're like an hour each.
Yeah.
And actually, this is the weird case where Death Nurse 2 is actually the better of the two movies. So if you can only pony up for... So if you can only pony up for one of them, buy Death Nurse 2, actually.
Or just buy both of them and follow along. Hopefully they're streaming on Amazon Prime or something, but probably not, being it's Olive. So,
but don't let Brad shame you if you have people to feed, or if you're on strike, like the Oakland Unified School District teachers, you know? Like, if you can't afford to do it, then just do Death Nurse 2. It's better.
Just do it.
Actually, just do it.
All right, cool, man.
All right. Brad, I love you, man.
I love you too, buddy.
Good work with everything.
Listening to the show, and we're back, and hopefully we keep this up, and we won't have season 6 come at you in 6 months. But with our next episode hopefully will be next week. We record, so we will catch you later.
Up and ready, buddy. Let's do it. All right. You've been listening to THESOVPOD. The POD stands for... What does it stand for, Brad?
What? Glorious.
Oh, Sie schrecken mich nicht. Eine so feine, verwöhnte Dame wie Sie.
Das werden Sie ja sehen.
Vielleicht unter das Eis. Ins kalte, pechschwarze Nass. Um dann im Frühjahr angespült zu werden. Entstellt bis zur Unkenntlichkeit. Mit ausgefallenem Haar.
Oh yeah! You wanna find it? Come on, yeah! I'm on a plane with cocaine, and yes, I'm all lit up again. Cup of love and touch on. Your mama said back the lines to stay on, and yes, I'm all lit up again. On the couch, in my bed, and yes, I'm all lit up again. Flying, I love the cocaine, I love the cocaine. Mama, can you wait? Mama, can you wait? I'm on a train and right on. You know the train is staying off the track. I'm in touch, love, from this crunch. When you're in debt for money, I'm all 11. And yes, I'm all lit up again. On the couch, in my bed. And yes, I'm all lit up again. Flying, I love the cocaine, I love the cocaine. Mama, can you wait? Mama, can you wait? I love the cocaine, I love the cocaine. Mama, can you wait? Oh, can you wait long? Crack the door for the curious girl, 'cause she's waiting. She's been waiting. A job line for the fiending man, 'cause he wants one. You know you got to. Can you feel it? Can you feel it tonight? Are you alone? Tell me, are you getting high? In the moment you are just so right. You right, love. Are you right, love? And yes, I'm all lit up again. On the couch, in my bed. And yes, I'm all lit up again. Flying, I love the cocaine, I love the cocaine. Mama, can you wait? Mama, can you wait? I love the cocaine, I love the cocaine. Mama, can you wait? Oh, can you wait? Oh, yeah! Don't wanna find
Glorious.